Welcome everybody, and thanks for joining Thank you for joining us this evening on eXtelevision for the Season 14 UGC Platinum Highlander Grand Finals between Kids Next Door and Ginyu Force. I'm Gecks, and I'm joined by the legend Huey Lewis this evening. How's it going, man?
Oh wow, the legend. I didn't know it was going to be this kind of cast. Thank you, Gecks. It's going well. How are you doing, man?
Oh, not too bad, not too bad. Getting ready for some good old Highlander action here between these two guys. You know, it's going to be potentially a long night here, yeah?
Yeah, the potential to go 3 maps, even though it's just a half per map. There's a chance we could be here for a few hours, but I'm kind of hoping each map goes swiftly in one team's favor, so we don't lose our voices tonight. But
yeah, you know, who knows? We might need them for Thursday as well. Anyway, as we did say, we do have Kids Next Door facing off against Ginyu Force this evening, guys, and our maps are going to be Gullywash, Upward, and if we need it, we're going to be moving on over to Viaduct. So, Gullywash, our first map here, you know, two pretty strong teams, obviously, enough to make it to the finals here, and Ginyu Force had lost to Kids Next Door in one of the upper bracket matches over on Badwater, but now we're going to be starting off on this 5 CP map here. You know, why don't you tell us a little bit about each of these teams here, go over some key players for us here, Huey, and, you know, how they're going to face off on this map.
yeah, well, I know Ginyu Force a lot more. These guys are more contemporaries of mine when I was playing, so I'll kind of start with them. Obviously, Banny, you know, is going to be the player to look out for, along with probably Max and Patty for Ginyu Force. The big story, I guess, of the upset win for K&D on Badwater was that Banny wasn't there. And Ginyu really does rely on him a lot. They're not practicing a lot, but Banny's such a powerhouse that when he is there, he just does so much for the team that it kind of propels, you know, them and just everyone on the team to playing a lot better. But along with him, Max is back tonight. Stones, the sniper who had been playing for about half the season here, I think what I was told by Max is that he got a job, and he doesn't get off work until like 11 Eastern now. So, yeah, he's unfortunately got his team to the finals and can't play just due to real life stuff.
That's always a bummer to hear. Well, I mean, obviously, both squads. Now, I know you said you weren't as familiar with K&D, but obviously they were able to give Ginyu quite the fight over there on Badwater. But of course, they didn't have Banny at the time, as you were saying, one of their key players. Now, you know, as far as Gullywash goes and just general predictions overall, what are you kind of thinking for this map here?
I think Gully will take kind of less coordination for the teams to be successful on, and I think that really gives it to Ginyu Force. This is their map pick, correct? I believe. So just the 6th players who come and play Highlander who may not be, you know, familiar with the payload maps or like the maps like CP Steel are definitely going to be familiar with these, and just if you're good at fragging, you tend to be good at like 5 CP and Koth. So I would say it's definitely heavily tipped in their favor, especially given even with a different roster, I believe Ginyu kind of just walked all over K&D on this map earlier this season. It was a kind of a 5-0 that didn't last too long, if I remember correctly.
Well, and also this evening, just something else to note with the rosters. I believe at one point Mela was supposed to be playing, but now I believe we do have Mustard in over there, so just something to note with the rosters this evening. I believe Mela couldn't make it, so once again, we will be seeing him on there. We saw him over on Ginyu Force last week as well. So, you know, it's gonna be a pretty good match. Now, I mean, you said what you were kind of thinking over here on Gully, but just for an overall scoreline tonight between these two teams, you know, are you thinking K&D's gonna take the cake here? Are we gonna be seeing some more action on Thursday?
You know, Upward's gonna be their best shot at kind of trying to take down kind of maybe the little bit of disorganization on Ginyu with the timed format. You know, one big mistake can cost you an entire round, and I don't think K&D makes too many mistakes. They're not like a big group of power players, so they do have their kind of standouts. But they play a much tighter game. You know, they scrim a lot. I think pretty much every day since Thursday, I think I've seen a log or two from K&D scrimming, and I haven't seen any from Ginyu until tonight. So that's really the big difference in these teams. So the timed format, I think, is what they're looking for. They're looking to try to maybe force Ginyu into a weird situation and capitalize on it.
Now, if we needed it, onto Viaduct, because of course we know that the players over on Ginyu, I mean, especially speaking of Banny, a big just fragger, you know, gets in there and just deals the damage, and, you know, being a Sixes player and all that, you know, if we get to that point where we need to be on Viaduct, do you think that would be more in favor of Ginyu, or do you think you're going to see K&D come out on top on a map like that?
That one's an interesting one to think about, with it being a Koth map. It's sort of a mix of DM and good coordination. It comes down to the Uber game usually, if not just straight DM. So it'll really depend on how well K&D's Ubers go and what they can get with it. And I know Overseer tends to hang back a little bit further on Viaduct, so she's a lot harder to get to be forced. So I don't know. It's going to be interesting to see if K&D can kind of work the flank a little bit more on Ginyu and just kind of tear them down one at a time. I think they have a chance, but obviously Banny and Max are big things to look out for. Banny just always knows what you're going to be doing. He's always prepared for it, and Max obviously is Max and Viaduct sniper, so Max versus Caesar should be an interesting fight tonight.
Yeah, snipers on Viaduct are always, especially when you're a highly targeted class, are just your, you know, the bane of your existence on a map like Viaduct. So definitely should be pretty interesting if we get to that point, which, you know, talking about both of these teams here and their strengths and weaknesses, very real possibility we could be seeing it. So, you know, we'll have to see how things go this evening, though, of course, first. But looks like we do have both sides do have 9 players and just about ready to go here soon.
It's told about 30 seconds ago that they readied up in real time, so we should be starting here pretty quick.
Alright, awesome. Well, in case you guys are just joining us, I'll kind of run through things here one more time. We do have K&D here facing off against Ginyu Force for our Platinum Highlander Grand Finals here this evening. We will be starting off on Gullywash, heading over to Upward next, and if we need it, these guys will be going at it on Viaduct. So we do have Ginyu Force, who is coming in from this lower bracket, and if they do win this best of 3 tonight, they will be we will be seeing another best of 3 on Thursday of this week. I believe it's Thursday, where they will face off in one more best of 3. So that's just kind of naturally how things work in these best of 3s. But it looks like we are live. We're ready to go. We got the guys rolling out into mid. Here we go. Let's see how this first round starts off, as we see the demos on both sides in, as well as the rest of the teams just on their respective sides at the moment. Down, we take a look. Nobody really getting too aggressive in here as of yet. Actually, Stabby's going to go down right away, it seems, with a sniper headshot there. Still just kind of waiting out. Max will get the party started here by landing a headshot. The Heavy's actually going to go down right away for Ginyu Force here. As we see, it's going to be 3 down for them right now at the moment. 2 down over on K&D, as they are starting to get a little bit of time onto the point here. Lots of players going down for K&D at the moment. I believe the med has gone down as well. Yes, he has. So Overseer is going to have a pretty big advantage here. They actually go ahead and pop off that Uber as they were forced. And Banny's just going to bring that on across the point, trying to get some frags. But the calm here starting to happen on the point. But Banny's still going to be launching sticks over there. Heavy's on the point. Banny's going to take care of him. He's got a spy on him. He's going to be playing a ring around the rosy. Finally getting away from him, though. And it looks like you know, this mid-fight just keeps on going and going. Oh, and the soldier bombing in is going to take down Overseer as well. So, good play there. K&D looking a bit better after being able to pick up Overseer there as well. Going to leave them with a bit of an advantage now. And finally, we see them. We see Ginyu Force here getting the cap time on the point. But, man, this is, you know, is this like a typical length mid for this kind of fight?
I've never seen a Highlander mid last this long, actually. Both teams are playing just playing it really passive, and their respawns are coming in and like bombing soldiers. Both respawning soldiers have done a lot of work. And Ginyu finally just had positioning to take it, even though they had no medic. Nursey does have a very large advantage, so they'll be looking to push back into mid, but they kind of lost a few players. They've lost their sniper, their Pyro as well, so maybe stall that push out a little bit, as Ginyu just is going to try to immediately work the flank in here, knowing that they have an uber disadvantage. They're maybe going to see if they can get a force.
As you said, we do have them working over by the flank. Max is over there. And just waiting on the push to happen. We did say Nursey does have that Uber advantage, but they're still just kind of hanging back over by their second point at the moment. Overseer's going to be up on her Uber soon as well here, sitting at about 90% as they start moving over. Ginyu does over towards Choke, and we're just waiting. We do have Scissor here playing very close on Choke with that sniper. Max is going to be there as well, so we're going to see a bit of a showdown here with him. He's going to get a shot into Mustard Overlord. He's going to land the headshot into Max as well, but Max will go ahead and back off. So just kind of waiting for the play to happen here on both sides. Now, how do these, oh, looks like it got initiated right there. He actually took down Scissor, but still no big push happening as of yet, as they are starting to rotate around over towards the flank side at the moment, over towards Big Door. There is a mini-up that is giving them a bit of trouble at the moment. They got to get that down first here to allow themselves to get in, which they do now. So they're going to start moving in towards the flank here. No Ubers have been popped off yet. Patty has it. The spy was spotted, and Overseer actually gets forced on that Uber. Both teams are going to pop it off, as they're just kind of butting heads here over on Big Door for a second, but no, not a lot of frags going down on the push. Actually, Max is going to pick up another one. That's going to be 3 down at the moment for K&D, 2 down. One of them just respawning over there on Ginyu, so kind of resetting a little bit here, it seems, at the end of that fight.
Looks like what they were trying to do was just kind of hold Big Door, and they knew that K&D was over closer to the point, so they were hoping maybe just to lock him in the Big Door. Mustard's actually sitting behind the point right now. Finally gets taken down, but most of the frags, for the most part, have gone Ginyu's way, but Banny did get taken down further. And Stabby actually uncloaks right behind Ursi and takes down Jared a few seconds later, so kind of some little poor awareness there. The first stab, sure, but the second one probably should have turned around by that point.
Yeah, that's a big play for Banny there, yeah? Or, I mean, Stabby, excuse me.
Yeah, absolutely. Hitting with that spy sickle. I guess the non-notification and no sounds of the spy sickle kind of paid off that time. Looks like Bobby Kresnik, I believe is what he's tagged up with right now, is kind of hanging out up in the lobby right now, trying to just delay a little bit, but there's so many Ginyu players actually just jumping around everywhere. Mustard's going to work up top. He's actually going to jump down onto Caesar if he can, and decides to pull off. Uber coming in through Shutter. They're just going to chase down, try to knock down the Pyro and the Heavy here, get some picks, maybe hold back a little bit, and just kind of slowly crush forward. The Soldier's going to come right behind Banny. That takes him down. Overseer going to go down as well.
Well, we see there's going to be a lot down right now for K&D, and that's going to leave it wide open for the cap for Ginyu right there. So they're going to start things off with a nice 1-0 there. Took a while, especially on that mid, but they do eventually come on top there, as Stabby really got in for the big plays there on second point to get the med. And that left it pretty much open for them to push forward. So we'll take a look here into this second mid, see how things go. If it lasts just as long as the last one does, as we do have the Soldier for K&D, who's already up on the side, gets a lot of damage into the Heavy of Ginyu, but he was able to finish him off there. As we see, there's only 1 down at the moment. It's just that Soldier for them. And now Ginyu starting to work up the right side out at Big Door. A few players going to drop, though, for them at the moment, one of which is the Heavy. Now Ginyu down 4 players, and K&D only down 2, but it looks like they have this positional advantage. They're just going to get right on top here. Actually, some more frags coming through for them, so they're going to be standing on the point here. They do have to be careful. The sniper is down low right now, trying to get Overseer. Overseer's on the point by herself, though.
Yeah, this is really weird looking with the medic just kind of by herself on the point. Just ended up banning an Overseer, again, the only ones left at mid. And finally, the Mustard Overlord goes for the Roamer special onto Caesar.
Oh, the Soldier bombing back in through. Oh, and does get Overseer inside a choke there. Banny, somebody was able to finish him off. Max with a nice headshot there onto Etney. So that will be looking like finally that mid is going to go over to Ginyu once again. Another long one, but they did pull it off.
Yeah, these teams are kind of so slow to get up and take any kind of position on the mid. I think Ginyu's flank kind of tried to, but they got punished really quickly just by the combo of K&D, and it's another really long mid where Overseer dies late and Nursey ends up with a big advantage once again. I don't know if... I'd like to see them actually try to push off this.
Yeah,
they kind of let their advantage slip away last time, and we'll see if they can kind of capitalize on it.
Yeah, that was a big thing. They didn't really do too much with it there last time. They kind of let it seem like Ginyu kind of bully them out, but they do pop it over at Big Door this time as they're going to jump right up into choke there. Demo's going to get in their face. A few frags coming out. He's able to pick up one. Aussie is going to get one as well, taking down Sigavu. So it's going to be a couple down for Ginyu right now as we see them still kind of hanging out towards choke here. They were able to go through, go ahead, pick up the midpoint here, but Overseer is going to have a hefty advantage here to possibly get back in with, as we see. They're starting to work their way through choke still regardless. Overseer is up on that Uber now, so they need to be careful. They need to be aware. It looks like they are. That Uber is, they do have it, and they're starting to come through, bullying them out of there. Oh, and Nursey does go down. Patty was able to finish him off, so that's going to be the mid back over to Ginyu, it looks like here. Yeah. They still haven't used that Uber, and a lot down for K&D.
Yeah, I liked the idea of what K&D was doing there. They knew that Overseer had an advantage. They were trying to get in, try to force themselves into second before she got it, or at least go for a force, but they just kind of stood on the corner a little bit too much. Their scout and their soldier got in, but everyone else kind of was a little bit too hesitant to get any spam or any shots in, so they all went down to banning stickies right on the corner, choke, and that just gave Overseer, really, gave Ginyu a free midpoint, Overseer with the Uber. Look to try to move here. I think maybe they're going to...
It looks like they're trying to go in towards this Big Door's side. They do have Sizor right there. He's sniping. I don't think they're aware how close they are. They actually go ahead and pop off the Uber. He's going to, excuse me, she's going to use it on Patty, who's going to go and be able to get one there on the Catsy. They're still going to continue to push through on this Big Door side right here. Heavy for K&D. Very hurt Patty is going to finish him off, so that will be a few down for K&D at the moment. Looks like Ginyu's going to get the better of this second fight here. Won it over at Big Door, and they're going to be able to get in here. Fathom still inside of lobby, almost going down to Aussie, but he's going to go ahead and get himself out. So the second point looking like it might get over to Ginyu here. It's going to. They had used the Uber up in upper there, and I'm not sure if that was forced or not, but that could leave them.
Yeah, I don't know. I think maybe Patty. He seems to be the longest respawn right now. Maybe he got up behind him and got a couple shots on the Nursey or something. But nevertheless, kind of another kind of free point and pretty big Uber advantage for Overseer here, come to pushing last. Looks like Bandy wants to take this river side, slowly moving in. There's a couple people down, including the demo, so as soon as this Uber happens, I expect them to pop just instantly and go in.
Yeah, they're just waiting here. They're sitting over on that riverside.
Dill is actually underneath, slowly marching up underneath the point. I think they're going to go with Dill underneath, kind of try to sandwich the demo, which they are. The demo dies just immediately. And it's going to be up to Blank, really, of K&D to try something, and nothing doing. Really good push. K&D really wasn't watching the water. Dill just kind of revved up slowly and walked all the way from the entrance to water, all the way up underneath, and the Uber came in at the same time.
Pretty well coordinated push for them there. So another one going over to Ginyu Force here. They're going to be up 2-0 on this first map here in this best of 3 in our grand finals here. So hopping into mid 3 here as we take a look. See if this one lasts just as long as the others, and so far it looks like K&D is going to be playing over by their choke at the moment, and Ginyu still on the ground over on their side, but the heavy over there, Kresnik, is going to go down early for K&D. Aussie's going to drop as well. So right now both teams, oh no, the Spy getting in there onto Overseer, actually was able to take her down with a butter knife, so that's going to be hurting for Ginyu right now. They're going to be down a lot of players, including the medic. Vanny's still in right now, trying to have a little fight with the NG. Oh goodness, he's so hurt at the moment, Vanny, as he's trying to get himself out of there. But the Uber had been popped actually over on the flank side there, and Max did go down.
Maybe that was just the threat of a headshot from Max that did that. That was a better mid from K&D. They got up quickly, they got the frags they needed, but they stayed so far back. They let Ginyu kind of walk in and start taking pop shots at him with Max. They let Dill somehow. Dill is kind of known as the flanking heavy, and he's very good at it, but it's something that really shouldn't work if you're paying attention, you know? It's this very slow-moving, very fat class trying to get behind you, and he's making it work so far. He's had some very good flanks, and Dill and Max really saved that mid for Ginyu at the end.
So I seriously thought that they had it, you know, K&D. It seemed like everything was working fine for them, the way it was going, but just couldn't happen. But looks like somebody was able to get Max there. Looks like the sniper was able to get him on the counter pick there. So both teams about to be up on the Uber right now, and it was actually forced over by Choke. Nursey had to go ahead and pop that off. Oh, but Overseer goes down with 99.
Bonked with 99. Can't heal, can't right-click. Unfortunate. Stickies just took care of her, but we're looking at the frags. Everything is going Ginyu's way as K&D kind of, once again, failed to get past the choke point and just really cleaned up. Banny and Mustard kind of just spammed them.
Yeah, not looking good right now for K&D. They're down a lot of players. Med went down as well. Nursey had fallen, so right now that's just going to make it K&D setting up at last once again here. Got to try to hold this push off. They did pick up second. Ginyu did, so just kind of waiting for Overseer to get up here. Going to have about a 20% advantage to go ahead and move in through with, so it's going to be kind of building here, the you know, the race of building here, trying to get all the more advantage that they can at this point. And just kind of waiting for both teams to get that Uber and start pushing. But it looks like Overseer has climbed. They're going to go ahead and start working up over towards Riverside once again here. So we'll see how if they do a similar push as they did last time. Do you know, is that something you think you can kind of try twice, or just not going to happen?
K&D isn't going to watch the water, and the thing was they didn't even see who was going into water, so they had no eyes on it. And that's why Dill was able to surprise them. But Uber's actually coming in; they're just coming straight through river. Patty going for the point, didn't really get anything. I guess Sigafu actually came in, took down Nursey, and this is just another kind of slow crushing play for Ginyu, slowly just marching toward the point, picking up frags on the way.
Yeah, it's another round over for them right there. It's going to be 3-0. And looking pretty good for them so far. I mean, they've just been kind of rolling through them on this map here so far, but you know, we'll see if K&D can get a mid here. So far, Ginyu has been kind of controlling the mids. They've been getting the better of them a lot of times on it, despite possibly being at a disadvantage at some points. But Bomb coming in right away from the shoulder over from Etney, not able to really do too much. Did get a rocket off onto Overseer, but she was able to back herself up.
Jared actually comes in with some sticky spam and takes her out. Again, Ginyu was kind of just clumped up there, you know, making the mistakes that K&D was. It's like Storm Marion comes in behind and takes out Banny, so this should be a mid-win, as long as they watch out for Sneaky Dill, and I believe Max is already down, so that should be it. Fathom's actually going to try to come up and get on to Perceive, but no, the Heavy's there waiting for him. It's a good job that time of kind of posturing themselves. Dill, here he comes. Takes down...
he's still hanging out inside of mid right now. He's saying, let's go, boys, bring it on. But looks like Kresnik will get the better of him. So there we go. K&D finally getting the better of one there. I'm not sure exactly why the Uber was popped off from Nursey right there.
They're a little afraid of Max. Max is the only thing in front of him. But, I mean, he's known to make those plays on occasion, but sometimes you gotta say, okay, well...
Just gotta risk it.
Yeah, maybe if he gets me, good on him, but he shouldn't, so...
Yeah, so once again, kind of using the advantage that they had there, and now they're going to be at a pretty big disadvantage, around 50% or so, which could leave Ginyu to get out here. Mustard Overlord causing some trouble back towards Choke here for them, but they're going to be able to take care of him. Aussie will finish him off. So right now, Max is going to take a headshot from Sizor, but he's going to go ahead and back off here. But Overseer does have that full Uber right now, still sitting about 30% advantage for them. Doesn't seem as though they're necessarily going yet. They do have the spy up top, though.
Overseer was still down below. I've noticed that in watching Ginyu and playing Ginyu, Overseer is the best spy checker on the team. So if she's not there, the spy's liable to get some picks. Strange as that might seem.
Yeah, the medic being your best spy checker. That's definitely interesting. Looks like the Uber did come off. Nursey did have to pop that, and Dill is going to come from behind. He was able to get a lot of damage out, but not really any frags. Oh, and there we go. Banny was able to finish off Nursey, so good play there from Dill. That Uber is going to be forced out from Overseer right there. Kresnik's still just kind of hanging out. Patty's going to give him a couple shots, finish him off, a little double tap to the head there. So now we see Ginyu looking pretty good here. They got a lot down. It's only 4 up for K&D at the moment, but Aussie's still in right now. Gonna try to get something on that cap. Not gonna happen. And now that should leave some room here, possibly, for them to get back out. Sizor and Max are going to have a battle of snipers here over towards Big Door. Max actually going down to a well-placed rocket from Etney, so still trying to get on this cap here. They do have Fathom on it, who's getting lots of time. Nobody really doing anything about it. Sizor wasn't able to kill him and get him off the point right there, and Mustard Overlord is going to be able to get Jarrett, too. the demo for KND. So they're gonna start.
He just does his thing.
Yeah. The guy comes out of nowhere all the time. I mean, and that actually allowed them kind of his aggressive play there over towards Big Door is going to allow them to kind of push up here over into mid here a bit. It looks like Banny's already kind of standing on the point trying to get the soldier and a nice sticky over into Big Door to finish him off. So that's going to leave plenty of room for them to go ahead and get through here. Overseer's down about 20% on the Uber, but I don't know if that's really going to matter all that much for them as they do get the midpoint. They're going to have some aggression in towards Choke. Nursey is up on the Uber, but Overseer just about there as well.
Yeah, it's going to be. I think they know that Nursey's going to have the Uber.
Through drop down. And they just came straight on through here. Nursey just pops it right off into their team. The counter pop did come through, but now they find themselves in a pretty sticky spot here. They're going to have to back up quickly, and they do get out before they got caught out in the middle of the point, but they're going to get 2 frags in the process, it seems, on the point here. Overseer's hurt just a bit. They need to be careful, but Banny's going to go down to Storm Arion once again there, so it's going to be a lot down for Ginyu at the moment. They need to get out, which they have. Overseer's made her way out along with the rest of the team, but good push back there for them, and Max is going to get rocked by Sizor there, so second point should be going back over to K&D here shortly.
What a great push, and that really worked well because Banny got disconnected from his medic, so he wasn't part of any Uber.
Sizor just got Overseer too.
Oh wow. Yeah, this round, Nursey down to 50 health. Gonna get the sandwich. Very polite heavy. This round should be going in K&D's favor if they're quick about it. You gotta be quick, but you gotta be kind of slow too. You want to kind of slowly march, but you want to get into position quickly to do it.
Yeah, I mean they do have basically a full advantage here. Yeah,
pretty early though, so they're coming in.
Yeah, they did pop it in through lower main there. Banny trying to keep himself alive long enough. Stabby's gonna get in on Jared.
Overseer with a pipe.
And that's going to be a pretty key pick for them right here, but they still not really many more frags coming through. It's just they kind of back themselves off right at the end of that there. They're going to go ahead and play the advantage game again, it looks like.
Yeah, if they back up and heal up and then start going again instantly, they could, they could have had a chance here. The health on their team was just so bad compared to Ginyu, even though Overseer did die. But it looks like they're just going to say, screw it, we'll just take an Uber advantage again, even though it's only going to be about 30% this time.
We'll see if they can get in, if it'll be enough for them. They are working their way towards River this time. They have Dill just hanging out over in River right now. If they decide to come there, this is great. He's just waiting for them to come. He's still going to be sitting there. He's got the minigun revved up, getting a lot of damage.
Forces the Uber on the heavy.
He does force the Uber off. That is wonderful from Dill there. So they're going to have to try to bring it in from Riverside here. They are able to take down Fathom at the start of this. Banny's going to go down as well. Wow, a quick cap.
Nothing watching the point there. Ginyu trying to all hold back to get the Uber, and well, KD played that perfectly. He just went straight for the point to play that. So at least they get around on the board. We have about 9.5 minutes left, so KD's not completely out of this, but they know that they got to make up a couple rounds, and if Ginyu gets one more, that's it.
Yeah, they really got to start moving the bus here. Got to put the pedal to the metal. So we'll see how this one goes. KD did win the last mid, and Sizer's going to get a headshot into Dill though. Right away there at the start of the mid, so it's going to be a couple down for Ginyu initially here, as we see them just kind of keeping the pressure up there. Max is the only one that's still kind of hanging out, was able to get Aussie, and actually they're going to start a re-push back in here, Ginyu is, and Max going to get another one onto Kresnik. So right now it's going to be actually a lot down for K&D. And Nursey was able to stay alive on the bright side for them. He's still kind of hanging out over there. I would just, yeah, they're just going to get themselves out of there. So it looks like Ginyu's going to go ahead and get that mid.
They had the point, they had the position, but KD's flank got a little too aggressive trying to get behind Ginyu and just got cleaned up really poorly and just gave Ginyu a pretty huge numbers advantage to walk right back in and take mid. At least they did get out with the Uber, so we're going to have a little bit of a stalemate here on the second point, but KD's actually really far out. Heavy up top, spy on the point's really all they have.
And they are just sitting up top right now over an upper, but Max is out there as well. He's going to be trying to get the picks. They're going to go ahead and just drop down from there, and the Uber is going to pop off for them, getting lots of flashes out. Stabby's still kind of lurking back there towards second, so they need to be careful, but they get a lot of frags out on them, and the counter pop did come through as well over in Choke, but nobody really there for Overseer to use that Uber on, and Stabby's going to come in, get Jarrett, trying to get a little bit more, unable to do so. Did get that demo pick, though, so he's still going to be lurking back there, though, so they're going to have to be careful of it, but Ginyu still kind of working their way back in. Mustard's going to go ahead and bomb onto Nursey. Nursey very hurt right now and was able to just barely stay alive. Mustard going down to Kresnik, so Nursey eventually going down to Patty, though, who is there to clean up on the damage, and a lot of players down for K&D. Only 2 up right now, just got completely wiped out on that mid.
Both medics did die at that mid. Looks like Ginyu's just going to try to walk in and get some time on point 2, if nothing else. Jared is up top spamming. He's taking a flare from Fathom, though. Benny's actually going to try to chase him down and force him even further out. Gets body shot by Caesar down to about 30 health, but he picks up the pack. So Ginyu takes kind of the free point off the huge amount of trades at the midpoint. A little bit better spawns for them, so they're going to walk forward, take it, and we're going to have even Ubers for the last.
K&D does need to hold this here. This is a crucial hold for them. If they lose this round, it's going to be pretty much over for them. So it's going to be a big hold. Both medics sitting at about 50% right now. Once we get the Ubers up, we should be seeing a bit of a push here. We do have Mustard who's trying to get in right now. He's gonna get taken out. So Banny and Sigafu, they're both gonna be able to get some out there. So both teams are down their soldier at the moment, actually, and in just about 20%, we should be seeing the pushes come through. Ginyu's got their lobby control right now for the most part. They're kind of passively holding. Max is in there, seeing what kind of picks he can get here first, but it looks like we're just kind of waiting. Banny actually went down, which is going to allow K&D to push right back out there. That takes away a lot of their holding power that was inside of lobby for K&D. Did you see how Banny ended up going down there?
I didn't. I was watching Dill try to go underneath again, but he finally got caught doing it. We actually have a teleporter up top that's getting cleaned up by Katsu right now, but Dill and Mustard actually, I think, took the teleporter and were sitting up top and get cleaned up. As they were trying to look at the players pushing out from K&D, but Overseer goes down to Caesar again. Caesar's, oh my god, Caesar. Shot at Fathom.
That is huge, because right there, actually, yeah, Nursey and Overseer did go down. That is big for them, because Nursey got caught out completely after that Uber got popped off on second, and if Overseer would have been able to stay alive there, and they could have kept in on second, they would have had a full advantage, gotten the players up, and it would have just been... could have potentially been just a wipe straight on through. So that was a great frag for them to come back out with.
They didn't grab the point, though. They had a soldier and a scout outside. Nothing else really came out to try to help cap. They could have capped that. It got very close, but with only the scout capping, he was able to come in and just bomb him and stop it. But the soldier had gone up top, so kind of maybe a little bit of a misstep. They could have capped and bought themselves a little bit more time, capped and backed out a little bit, but now Ginyu going to come back in. Looks like someone is capping right now. Looks like Caesar, but he's just going to get bombed by Mustard.
Oh no, Stabby coming in on the combo. Oh, they just spotted him at the last second. He had a pretty good look over at Nursey, but that's not going to happen. So 3 down for Ginyu right now.
Yeah, with Max down, not able to hold that big door, they're just going to walk out and go ahead and take the point. That's what I think maybe they were waiting for.
That seems to be the case here. They did get that second point back, as you said, and they have now worked themselves up to choke. They go ahead and pop off the Uber here. The counter pop coming through as well. They tried to put Patty on through, take that scout Uber in, but didn't happen for them. So right now it's just going to be butting heads for a little bit. Both teams down 2 players right now. Kresnik did go down. Dilbo went down as well, but Overseer's going to drop.
Oh, I think Caesar killed her in the middle of all that. There were like 3 people chasing her, and Caesar gets the kill from across the map. But yeah, really only Max up able to do anything right now. Patty's in, does take down Ender and Caesar.
And Patty's turn around and rocking right now. Patty getting another. Look at that.
Yeah. He got all those kills with about like 15 health. Finally taken down by Etney, who immediately gets fragged again by Mustard.
So here we go. It's gonna go ahead and kind of reset here. They still do have the second point, K&D does, but we do see Ginyu kind of coming through over at Big Door here. They can't really seem to contest too much. K&D can. They are sitting up top right now. Ubers are even. K&D is sitting in upper at the moment. They need to be careful. There's a lot of spam coming through. Kresnik's going to be very, very hurt right now. He's going to start getting healed up, but I think it's time for them to go ahead and back up. Looks like that's what they're going to do here, at least in the lobby for the time being. But second point is going to go ahead back over to Ginyu. at this point, and we're just going to be waiting on the pushes here. Uber's still even on both sides. So it's going to be just a battle of the frags here at last. See who can come on top of these Uber fights.
Wow, Banny really wanted that spy. Jumped across the map to try to get that spy and actually ended up just dead ringing away. He took down Max before that, so...
We have a bit of a battle.
Oh my god, what is happening here? Somehow walked in from up top and got, like, I think a full clip of his shotgun, like, of opportunities to shoot down Nursey, and finally does get the force out. And Nursey actually got down pretty low, in the middle of his entire team, due to the engineer walking forward. This Uber, ooh, it's close. Overseer is a little bit of trouble. The spy can maybe uncloak and shoot her, but she decides not to. Gonna go uncloak behind the rock. Maybe take some pot shots from back there, but Banny's aware. He's gonna sticky him off, force him to back up.
Things are not looking too good for K&D right now. I mean, Overseer is gonna have a pretty big advantage here coming into this last point. They were down a lot of players. They're still trying to get the damage out onto them, which are holding at last. Max is going to take down Nursey again. My goodness. Now that just about that could just about solidify this last push here. If they play it right, I mean, they're going to have a full Uber advantage here just about. So just going to be waiting inside. It looks like they're starting to work over towards Riverside at the moment, which we should be seeing a push bump, but actually they were coming up from behind. Etney and the Pyro were coming up from behind. They actually get Overseer. What a play from them, and the reinforcements coming in from last as well to take them out from the other side of River. Just sandwich them on that point right there. That was beautifully done for K&D there. That seriously saved them. That's going to allow them to come back out onto second. They get the cap, and they're going to have to start working their way into mid, but they only have about 1 minute and 10 seconds left here. I don't think they're going to be able to do too much in that time.
Yeah, they actually had a back cap going at the same time, so they're out, and they're going to take mid before most of the spawns from Ginyu come out. And, yeah, I think Ginyu is a little too flank happy. The flank's very good, but that's how they kind of want to bait their combo a little bit. And I think everyone was looking to try to get behind and not watching their own backs there. So, K&D kind of noticing that and just taking advantage. They're pushing all the way back into second now. They're going to get this point. Dill's up top. He's surely not going to be able to hide and drop anyone now. The Force did come out again. I'm not sure what forced at that time.
Who knows? Probably Max or something.
Manny's actually behind the combo right now, locking off the door. Takes down the spy, or dead rings the spy at least. Stabby, okay, finishes the spy with a backstab. And okay, Dill's doing his flanking thing now. Okay.
Yeah, you know, what else would he be doing? Come on, you know, he's sitting inside a lobby here. He's going to be getting lots of the damage out there. Ginyu was able to hold them off completely there, and that is going to be the end of the map right there. As Ginyu taking that first one there, 3-1. It seemed that K&D kind of took just a bit too long to really get themselves into the game. I mean, Ginyu just controlled the first, the first 20 minutes or so of that game. And, finally K&D got themselves in there, but it was just a little too late at that point once they were down 3-0.
Yeah, going up against a team like Ginyu with all these big names on it, I think they were just a little bit hesitant in any move they were making as a team in the first few rounds. And finally, once they started just deciding what to do and moving forward decisively, then at least more stuff happened. They got a round out of it. It went back and forth a lot. There was a lot more movement instead of them just getting slowly pushed back to their own last and spawn point. And so we're gonna go on to Upward now, right? That's the next map.
Yes, I believe so. You said, yep, as we're just getting the switch over here inside of STV, but in that game there for Ginyu, it seemed as though Max wasn't incredibly high up on the scoreboard or anything, his presence was felt very heavily. Really just forcing Nursey to pop the Uber when didn't necessarily need to, but just his presence being in there and his ability to hit those shots, as you said, he's been known to make those kind of plays. His presence has really felt. Force the Ubers, a few times just from standing there over in Big Door. And going into a map like Upward, I mean, is the sniper, as big of a factor as it is on Gully, or even bigger than it is on Gully?
I'd probably say even bigger, being a payload map, a timed map, where, one sniper pick can really ruin an entire round for you. So getting onto Max, I was actually scrimming with Pug team against Ginyu pre-game, and really all I did, I think probably 90% of my damage, was just me detonating flares onto Max, trying to stop him from having any kind of decent position or shots onto our own sniper. And Max really was able to work through it. So he performed very, very well, something like 28-9 on this map in the pre-game scrim. So I would look for him to be probably the deciding factor here. They're really going to have to do something about him if they want their pushes to work.
As far as focusing a player like that, I mean, at that point, is the spy your best bet to be focusing a player like that to keep him out of the picture, or would you take a different approach to controlling Max?
Probably the spy. Yeah, he likes to sit sort of a little bit on this map at least, either way back behind the combo or directly with the combo. If he's on offense, so he'll be up close. So maybe when he's on offense, you can maybe spam him out a little bit, but on defense, yeah, you're going to need something that's able to get back behind and deal with him if you want a shot to getting to the combo in the first place.
Well, you had said earlier that you think the coordination of K&D is going to come through here in this game, and what's going to be if you think that Ginyu is going to be able to come out on top. I mean, do you think that the fragging alone is going to be able to do it for them? I mean, they looked pretty good there in that first map over on Gully. Now, is that going to be enough for them to get through in this game? Is it going to be too strong, or is the coordination not being there going to be a big factor in them?
If K&D's coordination is on point, then they stand a real chance here. Otherwise, I think Ginyu is probably going to take this once again. The one thing I could see maybe happening with Ginyu is some of their players getting a little frag happy and going for kills they don't necessarily need. Maybe Dill not being in position to stop a bomb or something like that by kind of hiding on the flank, maybe. Last map that really evened itself out, anytime Overseer went down the flank of somehow the heavy, seemed to kind of pick up the slack of any time that kind of allowed his medic to be in a bad situation. So I don't know if that'll be the same on this map. Probably not, given the timed nature of it. But that's really probably K&D's biggest shot, is if they can identify where people are going to try to kind of hide and bait a little bit, and maybe clean them up before they focus down the rest of the team.
And something we saw last week on Badwater, of course, another payload map. We saw that Overseer, and I think you touched on this a bit earlier, that Overseer is very, very passive. Or at least, she was on Badwater. I mean, it seemed as though in that game that the other team literally could not get at Overseer like ever. I mean, she had like 2 deaths throughout the whole game. I mean, It was just, for them, how are they going to be able to, what's the best way for them to go ahead and get in there? Because I mean, it just seems so tough for the other team. It sounds easy to say you just need to get in on the medic, do something, send a guy in there or something, but it seemed to be a lot more difficult for the team that Ginyu played last week to get in there and do it. What do you do to get at Overseer in this, just because she does play so passive and she has such a wall around her?
Yeah, on a timed map, again, like, you don't want to die, obviously, so keeping herself alive, she just has to make sure that she's, not going to drop any of the more important players, and she's been doing a great job of that this playoffs, I think. I actually messaged her after the game, after that last game, and said, wow, couldn't you die any less? What was wrong with you there? But no, I think she kind of plays it right. I think it's kind of what you have to do. You have to just keep your team buffed as well as you can, but you're really the most important player. So as long as you use Uber when you need to, which I think she usually does, then you'll be in a pretty good position. And that's the thing about Ginyu, is you have to go through, like you said, this big wall, this kind of powerhouse to get to her. You have to go through Banny, you have to go through Max, you have to go through Patty, Fathom, and Dill, kind of hanging off to the side somewhere, and if you try to get forward, Dill's gonna flank you, and it's a bit of a mess. So there's a lot to get through to get to Overseer.